Can you get big budget locations with no budget? Well, depends. So in this video, I'm going to break down my process for finding the best, biggest locations I can, even when I don't have a lot of money to work with. I'm gonna show you some of the cool locations I've gotten to film in for my own projects, talk about how I got them, how much money I spent, and then I'm gonna grab my cat and make him do a little dance for you. So first, let me say something that you're probably not gonna wanna hear, and that is if you don't have a lot of money, you should be writing your movie around cool and unique locations that you already have access to.
Man, this is some bullshit!
But it's too late for that. You've already got the Oscar-winning idea, the best movie ever. You need this location or the whole thing's not gonna work. What do you do? So I'm going to break down the standardstoryco pyramid for finding a film location when you don't have much money. So if I'm looking for something specific, it's a personal project, and it's gonna be way too expensive for me to afford, first thing I'll usually try to do is just steal it. Just running up there with the camera, the actors, letting the cameras roll. Now obviously if you do this, you wanna do this in the most intelligent, safe, low-key, and considerate way possible. You don't wanna cause a ruckus.
Could you describe the ruckus, sir?
If it's interior dialogue scene at a 7-Eleven or in a cemetery like my short film Hawaii, those are the kinds of things that I'm gonna start thinking about. Could I get away with just going out and shooting this? Is it gonna matter? So often it's an option. Might be illegal, might make some people uncomfortable. Take that stuff into consideration. For my second feature film, The Hands You Shake, we just run around the streets, film the scene, leave. Not the safest thing, we were often very rushed, but then again, we did finish a feature film for 12 grand. So, you know, take what I can get. Okay, so we can't steal it. Moving on. Next, I try reaching out to people I know and people that know people I know. I can do that by putting an Instagram story up, asking, hey, does anybody know where I might find this location? You could even put up a reward if somebody knows. Another example from Hawaii, that house location is up for rent for professional film productions. It's an awesome location and it makes sense. But I was able to get it for basically nothing because my friend Travis, who was an actor, knew the owner of the house. He pulled in the favor essentially and got me a really deep discount on that location. If your team is big enough, usually somebody's gonna know somebody that has access to what you're looking for. So next rung on the ladder, did I say ladder or pyramid? The next rung on the thing, start knocking on doors, making phone calls, sending emails. If you're in Los Angeles or New York, this is gonna be like playing on hard mode. When I filmed Will the Machine in Richmond, I was doing a lot of knocking on doors to try to get locations, and it was much easier. People were so receptive to me filming there because it doesn't happen that much, and it's kind of exciting and cool, and they just don't care. In Los Angeles, everybody wants a piece of the pie. If they're gonna give you their location, they know that that's worth money. They're gonna want insurance. They're going to really be up your crack about the whole thing. One thing I would do is offer to trade my services in return for filming at that location. You know, if it's a business, you can use your video skills to make a commercial for them. If it's a restaurant, you can order catering for the entire shoot from them. Get creative. There's probably a way that you can pay them without actually paying them. One time I always think about finding a location by cold calling was the motel in the Flash Drive Part 2, short film on my channel here. That one was just a real challenge because I had so much time pressure. I was doing a short film every month and I didn't have any money and I just had to find this location immediately. So one day I just drove around to every seedy motel I could find. Finally found one that looked right and the manager was there and she was cool with it. I did end up spending more than I had budgeted for it, but you know, desperate times call for desperate measures. It was $250 or $350, somewhere around there for an entire day of shooting. But the sketchy part is the manager at the end wanted a tip after I paid her in cash with no receipt or paperwork or any kind of paper trail. The tip is the $300 I just gave you in cash that I know you're just gonna pocket.
Great.
You didn't do anything. You just opened the door.
The plan was to rob you. I'm sorry.
Got the location permit signed, and that's all that really matters. If you can't cold call and find it, the next thing you should try is to transform an existing space that you have access to into this location that you want to create. If you check out the video I made about how I made a short film every month and most of them took place in my apartment but didn't look like my apartment. For The Cheater, I turned my apartment into a back room at a Vegas casino with just a bunch of plastic wrap and tools and tables and ladders and all that, and made it really dark and shadowy. And the Victim short film, we just put a tent up in our living room, shot the entire short film inside the tent. Hey, we're in the woods. A lot of times that can be way cheaper than renting out the location, and you get to customize it more to the look that you want. And if modifying an existing location doesn't work, well, the next step up is to expand the search radius of your location and probably go somewhere outside of town to go do it. This is especially true if you live in New York or Los Angeles. I swear to God, if you're in LA, Go out to Riverside County to film, go out to San Bernardino. They're so much more receptive to filmmakers. They'll give you incredible cheap prices or no fee at all. I mean, film permits in Riverside are free. It's an incredible deal and more people should know about it. The only downside is you're gonna have to drive out there, you're gonna have to bring your cast and crew out there, so that can be a hassle. It can cost you time. Time is money. For Will the Machine, for example, I had to do a pickup scene of a high school gym in Los Angeles, and I knew it was gonna be a nightmare trying to find that location with Film LA and the permits and all that. So I extended the search and eventually found a location out in Riverside County. I believe the location for the entire day was only $200, and so incredibly affordable for a great location. And if going outside of town isn't an option, then we will go up to the next rung, and that will be using websites like Peerspace or Gigster to find your location. Now, the cool thing with these websites is you can just type in exactly the location that you're looking for, and you'll get a bunch of results with amazing pictures, descriptions, clear pricing, everything that you need for your location search. Let's say I'm looking for a house with a Gothic theme to it. And then you get this, Jesus Christ, look at this place. So yeah, you can film your Dave Navarro biopic here. But of course, the downside with these websites is they are often expensive, and these people that are posting their venues or locations here generally know that they're worth good money, they know the value, and it's just gonna be harder to negotiate. Definitely try to haggle with the owner. If you're a super small crew, that does give you wiggle room to say, you know, hey, we're gonna have 4 or 5 people in your location. Very small footprint. We're gonna be very clean, very quick, very quiet. Those are the things that location renters want to hear. And the next step on the staircase is to build the set. So building a set's great because it gets to be completely customized the way you need it. It can be really unique. But the downside, of course, very hard to build a set, takes a lot of time, takes a lot of money. So, you know, you might have to hire people to do it for you. But hey, if set dressing and set building is one of your specialties, by all means, move that up or down the... Way back in high school is the first set that we ever put together, and it was a booth at a restaurant. We had some big pieces of foam sheeting that we picked up from a hardware store. We put stuff on them and used them as the walls. And then we built this booth with like 2x4s, but we were so lazy that I only built the one booth, and then in post, I just composited the left side of the booth onto the right side to get the full 2-shot. And if none of those are working, then we finally get to the peak of the mountain, and that is hire a location scout or a location manager to find the location for you. Obviously, you're now spending a ton of money on these people, and even once you get the location, you're gonna have to pay the location owner a bunch of money still. But in return, you're going to get probably the most impressive, most accurate location for what you're looking for. These people make things so much easier. They have a whole catalog of different locations that you might want. They know how to deal with location owners, but you know, gonna have to pay for that luxury. Now, with all this said, as a no-budget filmmaker, you have to keep in mind that a lot of these more official avenues of finding a location, they are going to want some kind of film production insurance, so be up on that. You can actually go to places like filmemporium.com to obtain production insurance, but it is another expense for your film. For Will the Machine, for example, is able to piggyback on a production company's insurance policy, so I didn't need to get my own. But I did reach out to one of these websites. I can't remember which, but I'll try to find it and see how much they had quoted me for insurance for the production and post it up on the video here. So if you can't afford that production insurance or don't know a production company that you're tight with that will let you piggyback onto their insurance policy, then you're gonna have to limit your options down to... Congratulations on summiting the standardstoryco location mountain. It used to be a pyramid, but we couldn't get the location. Now, me personally, I'm looking for a location that I need your help with, and it's actually my subscribe button, and I want it to be right below my video and to the right, like a big red one with a bell next to it. And it would look amazing if like a mouse came over it and clicked both of them. Another great location, right here, filmmaking tips, great ones. Check it out. You thought I forgot the dancing cat, didn't you? Well, guess what?